In this video, we are going to talk another kind of database, that is vector database. But why more another kind of database? Which kind of data we do have nowadays that cannot be managed or handled by this database? So this kind of discussions and questions we are going to solve in this video. So in vector database, there are the many kind of vector database. So this video is completely focused on the Milvus. But if you understand one vector database, that kind of the similar ideas you can apply in another database. So if you watch this video from start to end, I'm pretty much sure you will have very good understanding about vector database, how to use that, how to install that, how to search the data, everything. So this video I have divided into 4 sections. First section I will explain what is the vector database and how it is different from other database, right? The RDBMS and the NoSQL database. Second section I am going to explain what is the embedding, what is the vector, what is image embedding, how it is connected with data science and the AI part. And third, I will install all the required software like the Docker, Milvus and the UI part of the Milvus, that is called the Attu. And the fourth section is complete, have the demo session. I will create some data, push into the database, and then the search and the similar search, everything we do that, right? So a lot of effort is going to make this video. If you can just subscribe this channel, like this video, share among your friends, it would be a good contribution for me, right? So for the better understanding, let us go to the whiteboard where I will explain each and everything in detail. So if you observe the last 2 decades, data has been different kind of we have, right? We have some structured data, we have semi-structured data, we have unstructured data, right? If you talk about the structured data, so any data, it is in the row and column format or the CSV format or Excel format. So those data we store, which kind of database? Those data we store RDBMS, right? Relational Database Management System, right? And for the RDBMS, we have many different kind of software that we take care. Those things are the, if you see, we have the Oracle, we have the MySQL, we have the Postgres, and many different kind of database. But why you store the data into the database? We could store this data on the file system also, right? So the benefit of the database is to manage. Manage means you can easily insert the data, you can easily update the data, you can easily search the data, right? This kind of facility RDBMS any database provided. So when you talk about any database, at least we expect this much of the functionality we do must have, right? Okay. So when you talk about the semi-structured data, it is stored in NoSQL database, right? And we have the many NoSQL database. Some of the famous NoSQL database is the MongoDB. We have the Cassandra. We have the DynamoDB, right? There are many databases out there, right? But now, when you talk about the unstructured data, right? The difference between that, this data, they have the text, they have the number. But when you talk about the audio, video, picture, MP3, PDF, they don't have the text, they don't have the number. So where you will store? So you can say we can store into the blob kind of storage, right? So we have the AWS blob, we have the Azure blob, we can store. Yes, you can store, but how we can get this kind of facility? How we can search? How I can update? Those you cannot do that. How they will search? Because these are the different binary format. You can't search, right? So we should have some similar kind of database management system where you can save this unstructured data also, and that is here use the vector database. And similar, we have the different kind of vector database, and some example are the Milvus, some Vespa, Fias, Wave8, and there are many database in the market. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Milvus. But question is that If you direct store this information, binary information in the vector database, then you cannot able to search, edit and find the similar things, right? So here one step is ahead, one step is required to use a database, vector database. In the MySQL, in the RDBMS, we directly copy this data into the database. But here you have to take one more step, means you have to take this data, do some transformation, make into the numerical format or number format, and then put into the vector database. So this is the pipeline. So suppose if you have this unstructured data, photo, audio, video, if you want to put into the database, so of course first you have to convert this object into the number, right? So suppose I am say this is the one number, right? So I will say 9.9.25, something number is there, right? So once you convert this object into the number, then this is called the actual vector, and then you can save this data into the vector database. Because when you convert this object into the some number, that is come into the vector, that is come into the numerical representation, that is called the vector, and those vector you are going to install into the vector database, and that's why this is called the vector database. And Milvus is one kind of the vector database. But how it is easy to convert this object into the vector? So that is not easy, and this complete part is called the embedding. If you converting the photo into the vector embedding, that is called the photo embedding, image embedding, video embedding. But it is not very easy. So say why? So suppose if you want to embed the dog and the puppy, and suppose the child, human, right, Python. So when they will convert this dog information into the embedding, so their embedding somehow kind of similar to the puppy, right? Because the context of the dog and puppy is the same. So some mechanism should be there, they should convert the object in such a way that context should be matched, right? The similar way child and human, their embedding almost similar. Otherwise they are not able to find out the similar object, right? But the thing is that if you talk about the Python or the similar kind of word, Python is also, we can know the snack is there, and Python is also called the language is there, right, in the computer things. Even the word is the same, but context is different. So when you convert this object, this information into the vector, their context should be maintained. Otherwise you are not able to find out the similar things, right? So if you have some Python in the context of insect, they will show those kind of Python information, not this Python, right? So how those kind of happening there, right? How those embedding happen? So I have created one video on the vector embedding, the word embedding. I would suggest please go watch that video. He will give the complete information how you used to do that. And in that video I have also given one hands-on session. I have taken some example and converted into the word embedding. So you should watch that video. So what happened that we use some machine learning model here, that is the deep learning or the machine learning model. So we pass this object into the machine learning, they will convert those objects into the vector, and then we can pass into the vector database, and then we can able to query for the search. Okay, but thing is that if you talk about the simple RDBMS, right, we also create the index over there. Why you create the index in RDBMS? Our search query should be fast. One of the important functionality of any database is searching. So to make the search fast, we create the index. The same way when you put the data into database, we have to also create the index for the fast searching. But one more difference is there in the RDBMS and the vector. In RDBMS, suppose if you give the raw number equal to 10. So he will fetch all the data which raw number is equal to 10. If you give the raw number greater than 10, he will fetch all the data greater than 10. But can RDBMS says raw number similar to 10? No, it can't. Right? But this use case is perfectly fine for the any image. So suppose if you go the Amazon.com or the any e-commerce, if you purchase one object, right? Suppose you purchase one shoe, right? That one image is there. When you search one shoe, if you go down, you can see the similar kind of the many shoes they will show you, right? So how they find out the similar shoes? How they find out the similar shirt? Right? This is not the exact match. That is called the similar search, right? That is called the similar search. And those kind, the similar search is possible in the vector database. Why? Because our data is inserted in the vector format and I can show all the data which is similar kind of the mathematical information embedded in the vector. So this is another important thing for the vector database. One, you can do the simple search what you used to do in the RDBMS. On top of that, you can also do the similar search. That we can see that. So if you see the basic pipeline of the vector database, what we have done that we take the data, put into the deep learning model, take the embedding and put into the vector database. Then you can put your query vector database and get the result. So this is a complete pipeline for the vector database. So those things will be seen into the hands-on. So next I will go to the desktop, laptop, then I will show all those things. But what are the things we are going to install? So first I will install we need Docker. Why we need Docker? Because on Docker we will install the Milvus image, and on the Docker itself I will install the Attu. As I say, Attu is the UI part for the Milvus to manage everything, right? That we will check that, and then we will use some machine learning model to convert our data into the embedding. So all those things we are going to check into the laptop. About the Milvus vector database. So as I said, it is store, index and the manage massive embedding vectors. They also make the indexing for the searching fast, and they can handle the vector that is converted from the structured data, right? Unstructured data. And some of the features, they handle the complex vector, the important functionality is the similarity search. You can scale enormously, no problem. And the real-time processing, reading, writing, both you can do in one shot, right? So these are the things. And Attu, we are going to also see the Attu, that is the graphical user interface to handle the Milvus. That also you see that. One important thing, you should have the Docker installed, and how you install the Docker, that I have created one video already on the YouTube. So if you go my channel, so this video is there, how to install the Docker, so you can see from here, right? And also I was talking about the vector embeddings, word embeddings I have also explained on the whiteboard, so you can go and see this video here, right? Okay, so and this website milvus.com overview, it will give all the detail about the Milvus vector database, what is vector database and all those things. I was explaining this pipeline, right? If you have the data, first pass the data into the deep learning model, and then it will create the embedding, and those embedding you can put into the Milvus, right? And if you want to go the GitHub, there is the GitHub, this open source, so you can get the code of the Milvus here, and Attu, all the details, how to install everything, it is here. And this is the all the three are from the same company, and he's giving the detail here. And Attu GitHub is here, you can get it here, right? So now I'm going to install everything, and if you go my GitHub, this is my GitHub, GitHub Binod Suman, and in the NLP project I have given complete installation guide how to install the Milvus, and how to install the Attu everything. So if you see, first you have to check whether the Docker version is installed or not. So for that you have to type the command Docker version. To start that, I have create one empty folder. If you see here, I have the one empty folder, nothing is there, and this is my folder, nothing is there. So first you have to check which Docker version is there. So I can see Docker version should be or equal 19.3. So how you can do that? I have already installed the Docker. I said that I have the video. Using that video you can also install. It's very easy, 5 minutes job, and put the version. So if you see, it is showing the Docker version 19 is okay, so you can do all the work here. Okay, so second thing what you have to do, you have to go and take the image file for the Milvus. So this is, we can get the file, and the file name is actually Milvus stand around Docker compose, but we change the rename Docker compose YML. So as it is, copy and paste this command. I am pasting this command, so it will install those things. Now if you see here, this file is already installed here, already download. Next step what you have to do, you have to go to the Docker compose YML. So if you see here, this file, open this file, and if you see, we have the important thing, we have the container name, image, command, all the details are there, right? First we check Docker is running or not. So for the Docker running, you have to go here, and here is the Docker, right? Double click. I have already explained this part in the Docker installation, so you go and see Docker should be running. Okay, after that you have to run this command docker compose up from the same folder where I have download the file, right? So this file is here. Say command docker compose up. You can see the standalone, mimic, and the etcd, everything is, the data is proving there. So they are downloading those things. This is the one-time activity. Once you have this file in your folder, it will not download again and again. So now you can see it is started now. If you want to check the running, you should go the Docker. Three things are there: etcd, minmu, and Milvus, right? So now next part is that we will install the Attu. For the Attu, what you have to do, you have to copy this part and paste here. So you can see I have pasted here. So after paste, save it, and then go here, stop. How to stop that? You open another one window and just say docker compose down it here, and again restart, because I have added the Attu here. So with the same command docker compose up, or this is already here. So docker compose up. So this time if you say the one more things is open, if you go here, you can see one more Attu is also started here, right? Attu is also started here, right? So when it will start, then you have to go open new browser and say localhost 8220. It will ask the credentials here for the first time. So username is the root, password is the Milvus, M is capital, and you can see everything is empty here. As I said that in RDBMS, the way in RDBMS we have the table, the same thing we have in the collection here. So we will start our coding with the help of the Jupyter notebook. So I would say open one Jupyter notebook. So create one new Jupyter notebook here. Or first Milvus code. Okay. So what we will do first, we create the embedding because that is required to insert into the Milvus, right? So how to create the embedding? So we will use the ready-made models that is already there in the open source kind of things. So we use the gensim, and through the gensims we will download the Google News. So they have the very big embeddings models already created, and after that whatever the word you will say, for that word it will create the embedding. So let me model and pass the word. So let me see the dog, and this embedding we will store in the dog. It is executing here. All this code I can get from my GitHub. So all the code I have given already. Yes. Now if you do that, now you can see this, it has been generated, the embedding for the dog. So this is embedding. This is for the dog, right? And if you want to see what is the size, so do the dog shape. It's a 300 dimension, right? So similar we create 5-6 the words, that those words will push into the in the vector database Milvus, right? So for P, right, and similar kind of things we will do the many things, right? So king, queen, book, lion we created, right? So now we have to connect our database, Milvus database, with this Jupyter notebook, so we can connect and write the code kind of JDBC. So for that connections and the work on the Milvus, you need some Python library. So these are the Python libraries that is required. Py Milvus. So once you will install, then we can do the connection. So to connect Milvus, what you have to do, we have to use the connection, this library, connections dot connect. We will give the name, the default name for the connection, which host is we are going to connect, localhost, and port number. Let me show you. If you see here, this is the port, right? 950. And for the, this is port, right? And on this port Attu is connecting also. So go and give the port 19530. It is connected. Very nice. After connected, we have to create the table, right? Table means the collection here. So right now if you see, nothing is there, 0. So what we will do, we in the table, the similar way table, these are the column name, and these are data type for the column. So I create one column, primary key, that is the integer. Word, I will give this word name, and that is the varchar, maximum size 50, and the embedding. So actually this is the field they will store the embedding, and the type of embedding is the float vector, and given the 300 because we have already see the each word shape is coming 300, right? So this 300, I give this field, collection schema is there. I'm going to use this thing, this library, and given one simple description about that. Everything you can see in the Attu, and then use the collection, pass this schema, give one name. This is my collection name, demo. So I also return the demo, so I can return connect it. So the moment you will hit this command, it create one collection. How you know? You go here Attu, just refresh it, you can see this is one collection is created. For more detail, you click here, you can show it is the collection here, and the same description is given, date, time. If you click here, it will show the schema. So primary keywords, embedding, everything is there, right? Now I'm going to create the index. Okay, so for the fast searching, so come here. Right now it is not showing an index here, right? We are going to create the index on the embedding. You can create from here also, but let me create through the code. So index type is the IV fact there are the many kind of indexing on the vector database, and this is the field of research. Many are using that, giving the good index on the vector database, but this is one of the considered the good index, right? So this is index, and L2 is the cosine similarity for that metric type, and which field you want to index. So this is my field embedding. On embedding I'm going to make the index. Which correction? Demo correction, right? Created here, come to here, refresh it, you can see one this created, right? The index is created on the embedding. So now everything is done. Let me push some data here, right? So if you see here, right now there is no data, no entries here, right? Come and push some data. So we push almost 9 datas, whatever we have created. So these are the primary key 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the names of the object, puppy, dog, king, and these are the embeddings, right? So push it here. Now you go, you can see that nine entries already here, right? It is not showing because we have not inserted it, just created the data here. So what you have to do, demo dot insert data, and also you have to do the flush. So now you can see the data has been inserted into the Milvus. Go here, refresh it, it will show the 9 data here, right? So if you go here, data is not showing because data is not loaded to the memory. That's why it is not showing. For that, what you have to do, because all the data in database they have not given to the memory for the good escapability, right? I done the load. Now if you come here, refresh it, you can see all the data here, right? All the puppy, dogs. If you see the embedding, just keep your mouse over here, it is embedding of that, right? So now let me search. If you see here, you have created the index, so they have given the vector search. Let me do one. What is the value of king? So copy this vector. Let me check whether the Milvus vector database is able to search this vector or not. Copy to vector. I copied and put in Milvus here. And search. See, it is showing that. So see the result. What is the meaning of distance? Means this is a perfect search, right? This index embedding and given index is the same. That's why it is showing the distance. Now distance between king and queen, it is showing the 6, means it is near. After that he is giving the lion. Lion is also kind of the king, so they are searching the similar words, but distance is 13, right? This is the way we search here, right? So through the Attu you can also search, but if you want to search from here, you can also search. So let me search all the primary key whose value are more than 5. So all the primary key value more than 5, and I want to words, and also I want embedding. Hope my no mistakes, as it is copied. So it is showing the or more than 5, so it is showing the embeddings here, and respective they will show the primary key and all the values here, right? Primary key and words. Remove the embedding, it is taking the more space. Run it, it is showing here, right? So, and if you want to sorting and all those things, those small, you can write the Python code and they will do the sortings. So if you see here, I did the sorting on the words, right? So sorting result. So if you do now, if you see the J as it is coming, right? So in this video only this much, I showed you how to create the embedding, how to insert and how to search. And also let me show here one more search is there. So if you can come here, right? Yeah, right. So which corrections you are showing, it is showing here, and then you can give the search thing, you can search that I showed you already. And another way was there. You can also create the corrections from here. Data query, you can use the data query here, right? So if I can say pk greater than 4, it is showing greater than 4, right? You can also search from here. So next video I will show how to do the same thing for the image. So I will create some image embedding and push into the Milvus and show to generate the similarity things. That much for this video. Thank you very much.